Doctor, my next question is, people feel that they're a failure every time and there is no hope in life. In these kind of situations, normally people tend to go into depression, right? So what kind of things, what the person can do to overcome the depression or having a hope in the life?
I think, unfortunately, these concepts of success and failure are introduced into somebody's brain very early, which is a very wrong thing. And second most important thing is, be it, individuals or even parents, guiding individuals, they try to focus only on one dimension in an individual's life. So it can be job, it can be studies, it can be just learning a sport. So now what happens is, when you are only dependent on that one dimension, when there is even a little, disappointment or dissatisfaction, everything else looks like a void. Everything looks nullified. So, firstly, that concept of depending only on one dimension should not be the goal. So the source of happiness should be multiple dimensions of life. So it just shouldn't be job, it should be family, it should be your personality, it should be your health, it should be your friends. So when you have these different sources of happiness, even when there is one loss, you have something else compensating and giving you that ray of hope and pushing you. So a lot of times, one more thing we need to understand is, we try to blame an external cause for sadness or depression. It's not really true. We always highlight, somebody failed in their examination and he committed suicide. It's not true. Not everybody failing in the exam is committing suicide. So a lot of times we need to understand that these psychological issues or depressions that come up are internal. So I always give an example. You take two boys and put them in the rain. After 1 hour of playing in the rain, only one catches a cold. So is it the rain to be blamed? Not exactly. So there is something internally that could also be the cause. So I think identifying that cause is equally important. And we need to understand that somewhere this negativity is again coming because of some repairs happening inside the brain. And if we can actually focus it, the ability to see life is going to change. The way you perceive things is going to change. The same example that we all read, about filling a glass of water, half of it, and seeing how many people see it as empty or see it as full. So that ability is there inside us, and we need to start unleashing that ability from a childhood age, so that in unfavorable situations we have something from inside that is protecting us.
Okay, can we measure mental illness, doctor? Anyways, like if we can measure mental illness, how could we measure?
Well, psychologists, clinical psychologists have a lot of psychometric assessments that they do, through which we can judge the severity of illnesses. So clinically, as a psychiatrist, once I diagnose an illness, the second thing that I'm going to do is, we have these questionnaires to which we score. So by scoring these questions, the questions depend on the person's answers, as well as what I see in that person's behavior, or his facial expressions, or his other bodily movements. So all of them help us understand the severity. So these tests, the preliminary thing that we do is a mental status examination. Through the mental status examination, we get a lot of clarity about where we are narrowing down the illness. And then we have specific questionnaires for each illness, which helps us understand the severity of it. We measure it as mild, moderate, severe, or very severe. So that is the measurement that we have, which is internationally accepted.
Thanks, doctor.